Welcome to episode 162 of the Muck Podcast, a member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Listen in as we discuss the dark and sometimes weird true stories in American politics. I'm Tina Hadamiya.
And I'm Hillary Dockery.
Hillary!
Hi!
Hi!
Happy Friday! I love Friday recording!
I do too!
I've already got my whole day planned out tomorrow. Like, I'm so excited. I have to get up early Saturday. I'm so excited. I know.
I have to get up early.
Girl. That's why we're here.
Thank God.
That's what, you had to have kids. You had to
know.
encourage them to play sports.
I was thinking
and now
about
this is where we're
I was
at.
like, look at this. And my parents never did this for me. No offense.
Oh,
They just didn't know. You know what I mean?
Oh, please. We're lucky
They're
we
like,
survived.
go outside.
Yeah.
Come back.
Yeah. Can't
See you
you go?
later.
My mom would lock that door. Like, you better go find something to do.
Oh my God.
So, the couple things I wanted to talk about.
Ooh, I have one thing that I want to talk about.
So, I find it hilarious. Great in some ways, but also very hilarious. We saw Kamala Harris less than a month ago here in Tallahassee. And then yesterday, President Biden was in Tampa.
He sure was.
And
he's hitting these states that he needs to hit, though.
But, coming to Florida for the both of them is exciting because
Yes.
it's like, okay, maybe they care about Florida.
We're not forgotten.
What they really care about is DeSantis is here and they want to keep ribbing this fucking guy, which is fine. But on the same
he also
side,
went to Wisconsin. Like, I think he's hitting, like, those areas that need to be hit.
but what I'd like, if it's possible, is maybe let the Democrats know and the DCCC know that we all still exist here too.
Yeah.
Like, don't just come for your, little speeches at fucking, industrial.
Send the money.
Like, factories and shit.
Yeah.
Remember us when it's time to send money for campaigns and candidates because y'all forgot us last year. And now we have DeSantis.
Yeah, and we all might have DeSantis soon.
But here's a quote, which I thought was, when I retweeted it, I'm like, this is the stupidest fucking shit I've ever heard, and this better never fucking happen. But Charlie Crist was there.
Oh,
because that's his stomping ground, Tampa, St. Pete. And Biden sees him. Biden sees him.
Oh, these two gray hairs?
These. Okay? Yeah.
Like, we grew up together.
It's hard for one grasshopper to miss another grasshopper in the audience. And he says, Biden gives a shout out to Charlie Crist and says, quote, "Don't think you're finished yet."
Biden, listen
you
are on a roll with your State of the Union.
Calm the fuck down. Yeah, you should have stopped there.
Stop there.
Put him back away. Put him away back in the White House.
Don't give this man any more ideas.
Don't come to
Biden.
Florida and tell one of the worst people to ever run for fucking office that maybe he's not finished. He's finished.
He's done.
How dare you? Allow us to make space for people who are real Democrats who really believe in the cause and actually, I don't know, can fucking win.
Can win. We need winners.
I don't think you're finished yet. How? He just got beat by 20 fucking points statewide by DeSantis.
Oh my
He just got beat 20 fucking points. Can somebody tell Biden that? Because I think that's an important part of that speech.
My God.
Oh, I'm screaming so loud I could hear it echoing in my head.
I was not expecting that. I did not hear that.
Yeah. Hey, I want to give I see Charlie Crist. I don't think you're finished yet. Bruh. It was a slaughter. I can't believe Charlie Crist could come out of his house. He's still beaten up and bloody. Motherfucker had to crawl home. His little grasshopper legs limping back to fucking St. Pete.
He got squished.
The motherfucker got beat.
Bug got squished.
Jesus, what a fucking loser.
Wow.
But you know what? It also tells me how much Biden actually gives a fuck about Florida if he thinks Charlie Crist is another good idea.
Oh my God.
He's really like, you know what? Fuck Florida.
Oh
like, fuck him. Like, you know what would be great if Charlie Crist ran again?
Oh my God. No,
what
Biden,
a fucking disaster.
Biden.
What a disaster.
I did watch the State of the Union, and there were a couple things I liked about it. I really liked that he was able to sort of like twist his way into getting them to applaud and take Social Security off the table. And, it just, the thing though that was like shocking, and I guess it shouldn't have been shocking or surprising, but the screaming of liar and all that, like, I mean, no decorum in that, like in the House, you know what I mean? Like, come on.
I mean, we know who we're dealing with. No, in Parliament, they yell at each other like this.
Yes.
And it's kind of exciting. I kind of like it, except there's a way to do it where you argue a point, and they do it when they're debating legislation.
Yeah, they don't
yell
it's not
at the leader of their leader, Like when he comes in and gives a speech about something.
It's like they're at a stand-up show. They're heckling from the crowd. Like, what's going on?
And again, we talked about this. I said this last week. We talked about it last week. It's just stunts for their you know, clicks. It's stunts so people could talk about her. And she got what she wanted. The next day, everybody's fucking retweeting, creating memes, blah, 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 blah.
And she's there with that stupid balloon. And, like, that shit pissed me off, too.
P.S. Yeah, go ahead.
Because under Trump, there were a few balloons floating on by that no one did jack shit about. And now they want to complain that Biden took too long? Give me the hypocrisy is just, it's unbelievable.
It's also one of those things that, there's things that happen we never know about. Like, those are things that we'll never, nobody gave a fuck about until it was floating around, you know?
Well, but it was floating around before, and Mr. Trump, who's Mr. Tough Guy, didn't do shit.
P.S. I just saw something in a tweet yesterday from a news article, and it said that everybody's like, oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's trailer trash, whatever. Do you know she's one of the wealthiest house members?
Oh, she's super rich.
She's worth like $40 million.
Yeah. That's why like she and Matt Gaetz are besties, those stupid silver-spooned assholes.
So here's something that was in the paper, actually, the Sun Sentinel today.
Okay, and
that I thought was like really, really bad, really gross. So we have the abortion, for a minor to get an abortion in Florida, they have to have parental consent. They have to sign a paper.
And go before the judge.
And they have to go before a judge. And the judge can say whether or not this young girl is mature enough, right? So the Human Rights Watch did a whole study over the last 2 years, because it's been for 2 years, of the consistency of these denials, right? And they're completely inconsistent from judge to judge. Some judges are harsher than others or whatever. Like what they base a denial on is different than what another judge. Like there's no real clear answer.
It's subjective.
And it's also because we're talking about human beings making these decisions, right?
Oh my
God. So there's a couple of things I just wanted to read because I thought it was just horrendous. But this is a quote. Court records confirm that young people face judges with the power to make highly subjective determinations on their maturity and interests. Lawyers who have represented young people in these cases talk about how a young person's clothing, their posture, or their manner of speaking can influence a judge's decision. Okay?
I can see where this is going.
Yeah. So
where this is going.
That was from the actual Human Rights Watch campaign, the report. And then the article says from January to November 2022, 18 requests for waivers by children looking to bypass the state's parental consent law for abortion were denied by judges out of 210 requests. So 18 out of 210, which is a lot, right? That's 18 girls.
That's 18 more than it should be.
Yeah. So in the report, it also says, documents show judges decide to deny abortions due to factors ranging from their GPA to being shy in the courtroom.
Being shy, they're probably scared to death.
Yeah, that's the part. That's it. Right?
Oh my God.
It also says in the report, listen to this, quote, the judge pointed to the fact that the young person had never had a car, a driver's license, or a driver's permit, even though she stated to the judge that her father wanted her to wait till she was 18. She's under 18. The judge cited that she did not take responsibility for any younger siblings, an impossible criterion to fulfill because she had no younger siblings. You know, like they're trying to show that, does she have any responsibility anywhere? Does she?
Wait,
does she
and
take
then
care
he
of
denied her request and made her have the child?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
And she doesn't have a license.
But if you're saying you're not responsible, then why would you allow her to have the child then? This doesn't make any sense.
But don't you think it's also maybe a judge who's reaching for a fucking reason to not, so that she has to have the baby?
Yeah.
And not let her have an abortion?
Oh, that's how we'll learn responsibility. Yeah. Okay, forced birth.
Let's just.
Got it.
Right.
Got it.
Right. So.
Wow.
Fun
and it
stuff.
should be objective. There should be, if there's going to be this stupid, ridiculous law, there should be consistency. There should be objectivity. But you can't have objectivity in this.
Yeah. No. Okay, there's one other thing, because is yours fun?
No.
Okay, mine's gross too. I don't know.
Oh, another gross one.
Okay.
Mine is like, I just thought it was funny.
Okay. So there was a Wellington woman who was killed last week. Wellington is in West Broward, and her partner, I don't know if it was her ex-husband or what, she has 3 young children, white woman, blonde white woman, beautiful, like young, looked like she was in maybe her early 30s. She was shot by her ex-partner, and then he killed himself, right?
Oh no.
So I'm reading this article, I'm like, God, this is terrible. But the picture they showed of her was in front of this stage that had all these flags and like all this, patriotic fucking garb everywhere. And I'm like, what the fuck? So of course I look her up on Facebook, and it was at a Trump rally. Like, she's a Trumper. She actually has a post on her from the rally saying that Donald Jr. is here for feminists. He's the new leader for feminists, and hashtag where are the feminists. And I have never seen a better example of voting against your own interests.
Wow.
That you vote
gun control
for these, because of gun ownership. You were killed this way. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, this is a perfect example of when we talk about white women, like in my case last week, or my story last week, when we talk about white women going against their own interests. This is a perfect example. It doesn't mean she deserved to die.
Oh, no.
It's just
no victim blaming.
Absolutely not. This is a tragedy. These children don't have their mother. It's fucking awful. It's awful. But my God.
Wow.
Right?
My little news bit has to do with guns.
Okay.
And you probably saw Anna Eskamani tweeting about this. But I found it very interesting that DeSantis, did you hear this? During his win of the gubernatorial race, and they were going to have their celebratory event somewhere in Tampa, and he requested that there be no guns allowed.
Yeah.
But the best part is,
this is so good.
He wanted the city to take the blame and say that they said they didn't want guns because God forbid it comes out that he doesn't want that. And it's scared. Like, so he's scared. So it's good for DeSantis to be safe, right? But nobody else can be safe. Kids can't be safe. Wow.
Yeah.
Between that and like Trump leaking those
the pictures, which I'd seen before, by the way. I've seen all of this before.
Yeah.
All these alternative news sites have had shit on DeSantis for a really, really long time. I've gotten tons of news stories from like YouTube, these political people on YouTube. They've been talking about DeSantis with he worked at Guantanamo Bay.
Right.
He was he was a JAG lawyer, and he would go into those cells. And when the guys who were being tortured, he had a checklist, and he had to ask them questions about how they were feeling physically before they continued to torture them.
Right.
That's who DeSantis fucking is.
Right.
Baseline psychotic motherfucker.
And the school that he worked for...
wait, so tell what the pictures are, because I didn't even say it. So what were the Trump leaked these pictures?
It's pictures of him with young girls.
Right.
When he was...
at a high school... He was a high school teacher.
He was a high school teacher at a very elite private school, and I know someone that worked with him at that time, actually, at that school. And that was his reputation there. But where are all those people at that school coming out?
Oh,
please.
Again.
They're shrouded. Rich people shroud
but it's also
themselves.
like Trump. It's the way he would attack people. It's the way that DeSantis attacked Disney and now has taken over their government business. That happened this week. Reedy Creek, he took over their fucking business. It's fucking crazy. Do you think another corporation's ever going to step up to DeSantis? No. Without him wiggling their way and going, let's see what he fucking...
Yeah, how can we control you?
The only thing they're going to be able to keep is their tax exempt status. And I read an incredible fucking article about the amount of money and how Disney... There's parking garages at their downtown... It used to be called Downtown Disney. It's called Disney Springs now. They built these parking garages basically for free. They use tax exempt dollars to buy this. And you don't have to pay to park there. But they...
I'm waiting for everything to get the high prices over there are going to continue to skyrocket.
By the way, Bob Iger, now I got to look this story up, but Bob Iger is now in charge of Disney, and I swear to God, they just said they're going to have layoffs because of what's happening at Reedy Creek.
Well, I mean, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think it said. I want to say it said 3,000 or 7,000 people are going to be laid off because of what's happening in Orlando.
I don't understand.
Yeah, Disney CEO just announced 7,000 layoffs in the worst possible way because of what's happening. Because of what's happening.
So you got to take this to the ballot box, people.
Oh, please.
I know.
Lazy motherfuckers.
Are we ready?
Ugh.
All right, today.
Ugh, God damn it. Are you fucking kidding me? It's Friday night.
Woo! I'm sorry. Okay.
Damn it.
Today, I'm going to tell you the story of George W. Lee. George Wesley Lee was a prominent civil rights leader in Humphreys County, Mississippi. But when he continued to push for equal voting rights for blacks, he was murdered.
Did we didn't do this story?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God.
I know. So our story takes place in Belzoni, Mississippi. And Belzoni is part of Humphreys County, and it's a small city, and it took place in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this really small city with a little over 2,000 people. But at the time that this happened, it was actually closer to 4,000 people. So over time, like, the town has just gotten smaller. And the town had the nickname Bloody Belzoni because, according to an excerpt of the book Rebels, it was due to the amount of lynchings and weekly gunfights happening in the town.
Yeah, great.
And the time that this story took place, the town was segregated, and folks there wanted to keep things that way. But Lee really wasn't having it, and he really was pushing for equal rights. And this is really pushing up to and leading, the start of the civil rights movement. So here's some things I found out about Reverend Lee. Kenneth Quinnell's article in AFL-CIO offered some background on Lee's early days. He was born on Christmas Day, December 25th, 1903. His mother died when he was young, and he was raised by his aunt. He earned his high school degree, which was a rarity at the time, especially in the South. And in his early life, he had a calling to be a preacher, and he followed that call. And outside of being a reverend, he also ran a printing press and owned a local grocery store. He also had a way with words and the ability to engage an audience, which not everyone can do. And we've seen politicians who have that skill, and we've seen politicians who just don't have it. We've been to so many different meetings, and some people really can engage that crowd and get the excitement going, and other people it's like, wah, wah, But he was, the former, not the latter. And a famous black journalist at the time, Simeon Booker of Jet, took note of Lee's presence on stage and described him as a, quote, tan-skinned, stumpy spellbinder, as reported in Mississippi Encyclopedia. And according to Zinn Education, Booker said that Lee could, quote, electrify a crowd. And he cited part of Lee's speech to more than 7,000 people in Mond Bayou, Mississippi, where he said, quote, pray not for your mom and pop. They've gone to heaven. Pray you can make it through this hell.
Jesus.
Great quote.
Wow.
So he was also head of the Belzoni NAACP, and he was vice president of the Regional Council of Negro Leadership, which was an organization that helped blacks with business and civil rights. He was the first black man ever to register to vote in Belzoni since Reconstruction.
Wow.
Yeah, imagine that.
Jeez.
It's incredible. And he was organizing voter registration drives in 1954, and he got close to 100 black folks registered.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's dive into what happened. So as I noted, Lee was registering voters, and he was attempting to, and this drew negative attention from bigoted white men. Some of those men were part of a group called the Belzoni Citizens Council. According to Quinnell, this group's focus was to purge black folks from the voter rolls.
So it's an old school Moms for Liberty.
Yes.
A group that just
Yes.
shows up
They
out of
show
nowhere
up.
to
Because they're like,
Fuck with
oh,
people.
this thing is happening and we got to stop it, right?
The stupid
And
thing that
so-
doesn't affect us and who gives
Right.
a shit, but we're going to put our nose in it anyway.
So how do they try to get people off the voter rolls? Once you're registered, right?
Ugh.
So basically they used intimidation. And according to the Southern Poverty Law Center, the Belzoni Citizens Council, which was also known as the Whites Citizen Council,
Jesus.
placed the names of black registered voters on a list.
Mm.
Then they took that list and they handed it to business owners and other businessmen who would then fire black folks from their jobs, raise their rent, and deny them credit.
Wow.
So basically they used economics and money to squeeze them out.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Oh, your name's on the list. Guess what? You don't work here anymore unless you're off.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, it's disgusting. So they, of course, tried to pressure Lee to remove himself from the rolls and to basically stop pushing the voter registration.
But he makes his own money. He doesn't need them.
Yeah.
He's got his own businesses.
He's got everything going. So, in fact, he even received a note threatening his life if he didn't take his name off the voter rolls. Lee still refused. Allegedly, white officials said to him, hey, we'll protect you, but we'll only protect you if you stop registering voters. He refused. So knowing his life is in danger, The officials of that town, government leaders, say like, hey, we'll help you out, but you got to do this. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. Like, he's still standing up for what's right. And I feel like this is like an overlooked civil rights leader that we don't learn about.
Absolutely.
You know? So a few days later, on May 7th, 1955, Lee was driving home, and it was late. I don't know if it was after a meeting or what it was, but it was around midnight, when, according to Zinn Education, as well as several other sources, a car filled with white men pulled up alongside Lee's car. Shots were fired into Lee's car, shattering his jaw and causing him to crash into the home of Catherine Blair. Here's where things get fucked up. The sheriff of the town, Ike Shelton, he tried to claim that Lee wasn't murdered. The guy was shot in the face, okay?
While he's driving a car.
While he's driving a car. He said that the entire thing instead was an accident, and that the lead bullets that riddled Lee's face weren't from shotgun pellets. No, they were from dental fillings that had fallen out from the car crash.
I'm sorry.
And then
I never went to dentist school.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not a dentist. But I think there's a big difference between
shotgun pellets.
Yeah. Like, maybe the holes in his face is an issue.
Can you imagine
that doesn't happen
this?
at the dentist, last I checked.
Can you imagine this? And
Jesus.
then he said, as the sheriff, we don't need to do an autopsy.
Wow.
And he's like, we're going to shut this case down, right? So it's absurd, right? I mean, it's unfathomable.
I can't even believe, like...
Yeah, this guy, your job is to uphold the law.
Yeah.
And you're going to make up this tale, right? It's this hatred and this bigotry just continues to rear its ugly head.
But think about how far we've come since then. Like, to think that an entire, race of people in this country could get no justice.
Right.
The cops that could have investigated this case,
right,
and held people accountable, decided to lie.
They lied. The sheriff.
And you have nowhere to turn.
Yeah. So, at the time, an article titled, quote, "Is Mississippi Hushing Up a Lynching?"
Oh, boy.
Reported that several black doctors were called in. And a Dr. McCoy, who was also president of the NAACP, was called in as well. And he stated that he observed, quote, "an irregular opening on the left side of the Reverend's face." And he also noticed powder burns. The article also noticed that witnesses reported seeing the men who shot at Lee. They said that they first shot at the tire to slow down his car, and then they shot into the driver's side window. Despite not wanting an autopsy was performed, and it was found, of course, that the pellets were consistent with a shotgun bullet rather than the dental fillings the sheriff tried to claim. Mrs. Blair, whose home Reverend Lee crashed into that night, she told the FBI that she saw the gunman's car.
Oh.
So this guy crashed into her house, and she's like, listen to what happened. So the charges.
Oh, bitch, please. Bitch, please. Please. You don't even have to tell me.
There were none.
Yeah.
So, in fact, according to Black Past, the sheriff, Ike Shelton, and then Governor Hugh L. White refused to look into the case at all. The only reason the case drew attention was because, as Black Past reported, civil rights leaders demanded, and finally on a federal level, then U.S. Attorney General Herbert Brunell Jr. brought in the feds. The FBI was involved, and they tried to gain information, but many of the witnesses were too afraid to talk, which is understandable, right?
Right, because the feds leave, they still have to live there.
Yes.
And they're
with
around
that
fucking
sheriff
wild
and these
people.
cops. And, yeah. So the case remains unsolved to this day.
Oh my God.
So no sentencing happened. And some of the aftermath. According to Quinnell's article in AFL-CIO, Lee's open casket funeral, so his wife was like, we're going to have an open casket. People, and there was a photo in this article, and I'm not posting it on Instagram because I just don't want to, but it's her leaning over her husband in this casket. And but her act was the precursor to that type of communication to the public during the civil rights movement. And it was really like counted as a success because it drew all of this attention because she did this open casket. And it also it also connected to Emmett Till, who was killed later that day, and his mother like heard about what she had done, and she's like, I'm gonna do the same thing with Emmett Till. Yeah, I mean, it gave me goosebumps. So, though Lee was murdered, folks continued with voter registration into the 1960s, where it then moved into a statewide effort.
Wow.
Which I thought was incredible. So, from several accounts I read, Lee is considered one of the early martyrs of the civil rights movement, yet, of course, we really don't learn much about him. At least I haven't. And I just feel like these are the folks we need to be uplifting and remembering. Like, he gave his life when he didn't have to. He could have stopped and had that protection, but he like looked to like what was more important and what was important to fight for, and not a lot of people can do that, you know?
No, I mean, I was gonna say, when you said his wife had the open casket, I was like, she's tough as fucking nails too. Like,
yeah. And I was thinking about like, do I put the picture? But there's this other picture of him that's like his picture, and he's got these like dimples and this like start of a smile. You see like this twinkle in his eye. I'm like, that's the picture that like we should remember, you know?
Absolutely.
So this book, The Rebels, the excerpt notes that there is a statue in Belzoni to commemorate Lee. However, the writer notes that this is in the poor area of town. And there are other areas in the town that highlights veterans from World War I, World War II, and of course the Civil War, but not this guy. You know what I mean? Like, they're still relegating him to this. I just hate it. But there's also the Reverend George Lee Museum in Belzoni, too, that someone started. So I have a picture of the museum in there. And then I talked about Mamie Till Mobley, Emmett Till's mom, who buried her son later that year. And Black Past noted that over 1,000 folks attended the funeral, and NAACP President Roy Wilkins spoke at the service.
Wow.
And in 2000, I thought this was interesting. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, the FBI finally released the files on the case, and there were 2 suspects listed. Someone named Peck Ray, who's also noted as Marion Ray, and Joe David Watson. They were members of the White Citizens Council, but they died in the 1970s. The article also notes that at the time, the local prosecutor refused to take the case to the grand jury. So that's the story of the unsolved, but most people really attribute it to these 2 men. Murder of civil rights leader George W. Lee. I know. It's like a good story, but it's a horrible story, you know? And it's like, how many more stories do we not know of people like just giving their life and time? I don't know. All right.
So sad, Tina.
I know.
All right, are you ready?
I am.
Okay, because today I'm covering Steve Lough, clown for Congress.
What? Like, is he a clown, or is he like
He's
actually...
a fucking clown!
No, like Bozo with the nose?
Yes!
By the way, he's got the little burr, like the, what is it, the horn?
Yeah, the flower with the water that comes out. He looks like a hobo, but he's like a bozo. Yes.
No.
So I was searching. I literally typed into Google, clowns plus Congress. Because I don't know.
Because there's a lot of clowns.
Yeah, but I also
they don't have
know.
the makeup on, but they're the clowns.
Yeah, I also was just like, I wanted to like do some sort of connection with the 2, but I had no idea that this was what was going to come up. And it's short, but and yeah, okay. So there isn't a lot of information, but it's still fun. And
no, I love this.
Okay, so Steve Lough was born in Camden, South Carolina on July 12th, 1965. He graduated Camden High School, Dartmouth College, and the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College.
How do you go from Dartmouth?
Yeah.
How do you go from Dartmouth
Yeah.
to clown college? Like, what did he have? Like, did he know how to like swing on the trapeze or something? Like,
Honey, he was a clown. He would juggle. Yeah. So after finishing school, Steve fulfilled a childhood dream and ran away to join the circus.
Oh my, he's got to be rich. Only a rich person can go to Dartmouth and run away and join the circus.
Maybe. Yeah. He worked as a professional circus clown for over 30 years.
What?
He started his career in Japan with the he started with the Ringling Brothers and then moved to Japan, where he was doing a tour there, like with another circus group. And that's where he met his wife, Elizabeth. And Steve and Elizabeth were married in 1996 and returned. When he came back to the States, he went back to Ringling Brothers. So together with Elizabeth and their beloved Jack Russell Terriers, Steve spent his career touring with the greatest show on earth and later performing for children and their families throughout North and South Carolina.
This is wild.
Yeah. So, in March 2000... I can't tell you how many times this song's been in my head today. So, in March 2018, Steve announced his candidacy for the 5th Congressional District in South Carolina, the House. His website was clownforcongress.com. His campaign signage featured the O in his name as a red clown.
No! I like this guy. Where is he?
Me too. Don't you fucking love it? Like I am so happy.
What party? First of all, what party?
Oh, honey, you think a Republican's gonna do this?
Okay,
the party of Reagan.
So, not too serious.
And Trump, the party of Trump, was gonna have a clown for.
It's funny because Trump is a clown, and then the actual clown. He
does put paint on that, and he wears a bit of a wig.
Jesus, but this clown isn't as much of a clown.
No. His campaign slogan. His campaign slogan was "Aim high, vote low." I knew you'd like that. She's a bit of a word geek.
I'm sorry.
So Lough was one of 3 Democrat candidates vying to face off the Republican incumbent Ralph Norman. Experts believe Norman would likely win re-election in November. He had taken the seat. Trump appointed him to the seat because Mick Mulvaney was the rep there, and then he put Mick Mulvaney in some sort of fucking
whatever,
cabinet position and whatever. So, but the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee added the race to its list of battlefield districts, hoping a presumed strong year for them will flip the seat held by Republicans since 2011.
Okay.
So there was 3 other Democrats in the primary with Lough. So Lough was a first-time candidate, and he said, these are a couple of, there's some quotes I have from him that I thought are just so good. He said he was against arming teachers in schools.
Okay.
He supports an assault weapons ban. He wanted a single-payer healthcare system and believes deferred action for childhood arrivals, DACA recipients, should be naturalized citizens.
Oh, I love this guy.
Lough said that the horror of the 2012 shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut, is what motivated him to consider a run for politics.
Oh, and he probably works with kids all the time.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So he said, quote, living on the train, touring America by rail, and working with performers, both human and animal, from all different parts of the world was the best education of all. When you sweat beside a person and laugh with them, wherever they're from, whatever the color of their skin, whatever God they worship, you learn to love all of humanity. Their values, love, mutual respect, and a common goal of working together to put on the greatest show on earth are what Steve hopes to bring to the Congress of the greatest country on earth.
Oh my God.
That was on his website.
Look at you.
Isn't this so great? I mean, who wrote this? He wrote this. I'm fucking impressed. I'm impressed. He said, I was looking at that and that Trump was running. And because remember, this is 2000.
I can't believe it. It feels like it should be from like the 80s with Ringling Brothers. You forget they're around so long.
Yeah. He said, quote, I was looking at that and I was like, well, who's going to help the working people? And I was like, well, everybody talks about how Trump is a clown. Trump had been in a year almost at this point. Everybody's talking about how it's a clown car. The cabinet's a clown car and Congress is a circus. Who's in the clown car this week? And I was like, if you guys had any idea how well run the circus is, because I used to do setup and tear down and all the other extra jobs to make money, right? And so I was personally insulted.
I love this guy.
Don't you fucking
love this guy? Can we get a shirt with his face on it?
Oh, and you know what too? Like in his videos, if you go on YouTube, you'll see him like doing an interview. And
is he juggling while he's interviewing?
He does a little juggle like for his promotional video, but he's not in costume. Okay. He's like running as himself. But I put pictures of him as a clown because it's so fucking.
Does he have a clown name?
I don't know what it is. Oh, Damn it.
That's okay. That's okay.
Probably would have been good information. Anyway, he just looks so happy. He looks like such a nice guy.
Lough the clown. Lough.
I love this motherfucker.
Lough the clown. I'm going to name him.
So stupid. By the way, you see she's wearing her Valentine's sweater.
Hey.
Oh, wait, when does this come out? Does this come out before Valentine's Day? Oh, the day after.
Yeah.
Oh, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. We love you.
We love you.
And we hope that you love us too.
I don't care about that.
I do. Sign up for that Patreon.
Oh, yeah,
what are you
we'll
doing?
take your money. We've done this before. We've already done this.
We gotta keep doing it. They don't remember. They don't do it. They don't sign up. Come on.
We're doing it. We're recording a Patreon tonight. We'll make it extra juicy if you get on there. Okay, so Lough lost the primary, of course, on June 12th, 2018 to fellow Democrat Archie Parnell. Lough received 2,627 votes out of the 27,763 cast. The Republican incumbent Ralph Norman won his seat and has been reelected 3 more times.
Ugh.
So I wanted to see what this Norman guy was about, right? So the Republican who won, and I found so many wonderful things involved in a ton of things, but I just pulled one quote about that he gave that is so horrible. So Norman is the 28th wealthiest member of Congress with a net worth of $18.3 million. All right. He worked as a real estate developer. That's how he made his money. And like I said, there's many, many stories about Ralph Norman. I think he could be his own podcast episode. But my favorite was a joke he made about sexual assault during the Kavanaugh hearings. He said, quote, "Did y'all hear this latest late-breaking news on the Kavanaugh hearings? Ruth Bader Ginsburg came out saying she was groped by Abraham Lincoln." End quote.
Wow.
Kind of, maybe you should have voted for the clown.
Yeah.
Clown sounds pretty good right about now.
I mean, wow, way to be completely dismissive to women and to assault. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of men.
And he's considered like an ally of Trump's, you know, like anything.
I'm also sick. I'm sorry. I'm really sick of these millionaires running Congress. You know, running for. I get it. Like anybody can run for a seat. Blah blah blah. But I'm really tired of it. Like you have a lot of money. Like go on your yacht.
Yeah.
Go float on a yacht somewhere and leave us alone. Because you're only about special interests. You're only about your stupid tax breaks. You know what I mean? Like you're not for the people. You're too far removed in your wealth to care about regular people. I'm what an asshat. Like come on. Yeah. Where's the clown? Bring in the clowns.
Yeah. I'm here for it. I'm here for
too.
it. Unfortunately, Steve has died.
No!
I know. I built him up.
How old is he?
He was very young. He died February 23rd, 2019. He was in his 50s. So a few months after the November election.
No!
Yeah.
What happened?
I couldn't find anything in his obituary. They didn't list like the cause of death or anything. But there was this amazing sentence about him in his obituary that I thought was so
I'm so
sweet.
sad.
I know. God damn it. Oh, Tina.
Lolo the clown.
He had said, quote, "Steve's was a life of joy and service, and he had a profound impact on everyone he touched," end quote. Think about, and when I read it, I was like, you know what? To be a clown, like, yes you're a performer, you're putting on a show, they have to create a character, it becomes who they are. But like, I had other quotes from him, but like, their sole purpose is to make you laugh.
Yeah.
To entertain you, to make you feel happy. Like, that's what he wanted to do. Like, going around talking to kids about gun violence and stuff. Like, he would go around and talk about, like, drug safety. That's what he was doing when he left Ringling Brothers. He was going to tour schools. Like, just dedicating his time to this.
I have goosebumps from this. Like, what a beautiful person.
Yeah. I mean,
that's
amazing.
the person that you want to serve.
Right.
He's already serving. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, this is someone who is giving his time to talk to kids. And I feel like people who work with, like, especially, like, young kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are scared of clowns. You know, there's that whole thing.
I thought about that, too.
But imagine, like, someone who's, like, you know, deathly afraid of clowns. And they're like, a clown is running for Congress and I gotta vote. You know, I get it. Like, it could be scary. But yeah, a lot of kids love a clown, you know?
Of course.
And have you ever gone to the circus?
I have gone to the circus.
I went one time.
Yeah.
My aunt and my uncle took me when I must have been 7 or 8 years old, and I still remember. Like,
oh, yeah.
I remember, like, getting the snacks. I remember getting a little, like, I don't remember what the thing was, but I got some stupid little, like, you know, like, souvenir.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the tricks and the trapeze, and you know, it's so magical at that age.
Yeah, and Ringling Brothers isn't doing the animal stuff anymore. No. I think that was the big thing.
Yeah.
People would protest
the elephants.
The elephants,
those babies. Oh, Lolo.
I know. Oh, I was bummed out. I was bummed out when I read that he died. He was young.
Oh, damn it.
You know?
All right.
Cursed. So, I have a hot date tonight.
Ooh, hey.
Do you want to know who I'm going on a date with?
Who?
His name's Michael Corleone.
What? Wait.
I have
One or two?
One.
Okay.
I'll get two soon, but I have been thinking about this fucking movie for so long, like a couple of months, where I was like, I have to rewatch The Godfather.
Yes.
And so I finally downloaded it. I'm not doing anything tonight, so I'm like, I'm gonna reheat some old pizza I got.
I'm so jealous.
And I'm gonna watch it. And then I saw clips today, like when he goes to Vegas to talk to Mo Green and Fredo, that scene in that hotel room.
It's so good.
It's so freaking
He's
good.
like, shut the fuck up, Fredo.
Yeah, when he leaves and Fredo goes, Mike, you can't come to Las Vegas and talk to a man like Mo Green like that. And then Michael goes, he lights his cigarette and he's like, Fredo, you're my older brother and I love you. But don't ever take sides against the family again.
Oh, it's so good.
Ever. Like he takes his pause and he's like, ever. And I'm like, ugh. Like
I love when he talks to Mo Green and he's like, oh yeah, you have to straighten my brother out?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ooh, his eyes. He was like, you straighten my brother out?
Ooh.
And then also when he's like,
he's so hot.
He's so fucking hot. So hot. But also later on, like that whole don't take sides with the family, that's a flash forward, like what do they call it?
Like a precursor?
But
is that a flashback?
No. It's what's it called? When it's like what is it called? Foreshadowing.
Yes.
It's foreshadowing what's actually gonna happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, but one of my favorite is
I'm smart. When Fredo starts yelling, I'm smart. Nobody cares about me, but I'm smart.
Oh my! Not dumb. Like they say. I'm smart.
I'm the older brother, and I got passed over.
I was passed over, Mike.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then that's the one where they, at the end, where he like it's Sonny, like they have that sort of flashback scene, and he's like, you talk to my father about my future, and it's like, oh god, he had. And like, you know, he had so much potential, you know, like Godfather's just like Senator Cole, like he wanted so much. And I know I've talked about this before, but I love that movie because Godfather 1 is like so old school time. They're singing the songs. And like, those are songs like I knew, like I grew up like people singing, like that's like the vibe of, and I love it. I love it. And then Godfather 2, you see it's very waspy.
Yeah, because they go out to Vegas. Remember they moved to Vegas, and now they're looking at this like
yeah, and like, but you see like that beautiful wedding that's like so authentic Italian, and then you have that.
Was it her first communion or something?
It's Anthony's first communion, and it's so
on the lake.
Yeah, you know,
bougie. Now,
I gotta tell you my favorite scene.
Okay.
I know English Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
The wife.
Yeah, she's so cute.
Oh my God.
So beautiful.
So beautiful.
So I a few months ago we watched it with my oldest.
Oh.
Because I was like, it's time. So he's like, okay, and he's like, when can we do 2? When can we do 2? My husband's like, no, there's that scene with the senator, you know, like that bad scene.
Hua?
Yeah. The hua. But
who got a dead hua in here? I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened. That's a great scene. But I'm like, I think he can handle it. So we'll probably do that soon, but I'm gonna make him rewatch 1 again.
Well, even if your husband doesn't know, I'm sure you'll let him watch it, because how many times has your son like, oh, I watch this, and your husband's like, what the fuck, Tina?
Yeah,
Tina lets him watch whatever he wants.
But he's like, when can I watch Sopranos? And I'm like,
oh no, it's too
and I'm
much
like 16.
There's too much
I know, I'm like 16.
All right.
I'm like, we could do it 16.
Okay, now here's what I want to ask you. Have you ever seen, it was on HBO a few years ago, and it's like 6.5 hours long, but Coppola, he cut the movies together.
Oh, and did it
in chronological order. Have you seen this?
Yes.
It's okay.
It's okay. I like the cutting.
Yeah.
My father likes that because my father loves the scenes with Robert De Niro.
Oh my God!
Like
so
he loves,
good.
and he loves the favorite character is Roberto, which is my dad's name. And he's like the guy, and and Robert De Niro is so good, it's Godfather 2. And he's standing, he's in the seat, and the landlord, and he comes in and he goes, "The rent stays the same."
Yeah.
And Robert De Niro was just like, and he goes, "I lower it $5, $10." And then he doesn't even say anything. He just like moves his cigar, and he's like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And then he tries to get out of the door, and he's like, "Oh, man, just stop." It's so funny. It's so funny.
Okay, I also love it when there's a scene in the very beginning of Godfather 1 where Marlon Brando. I would love to. I'll work on it. I'll work on my Godfather impression, but. The guy whose daughter was beat up by the husband, the Undertaker, the funeral director, who later works on Sonny. Yeah. So he comes and he's like, "I need a favor, Godfather," right? And he's like, we used to hang out, we used to be friends. And Godfather's like, "Why don't we hang out anymore?" Meanwhile, he's a fucking murderer. Like, hello. So it's like later on he leaves and then he says to one of the guys like, "Let so and so take care of this." Undertaker. The way he says it's so fucking funny.
I love the part though when the Undertaker's like, "My wife, he." And he goes, "So you want them?" And he goes, "You understand everything, Godfather."
Don't make me say it. I want you to fucking kill this guy. Like
the baker, Enzo the baker.
Yeah. So by the way, also, Luca Brasi outside going, "Godfather, on the day of your daughter's wedding, I thank you, Godfather, to be invited to your daughter's wedding." And he's got the fucking gift, and he's like, "On the day of your daughter's," and then he comes in and he fucking blows it.
He's got to give you a boost. Yeah, he's there. He's like, he wants to give you a boost.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
A boost. Yeah, that's right. And also, so I watched it in high school because, like I said to you last week, my high school boyfriend's Italian. He was Italian. And he's like, "You haven't seen Godfather?" And so he made me sit down and watch Godfather. And he was talking about how in the book, supposedly Sonny has a huge penis.
Oh, yes.
And how, like, in the beginning of the movie, she does this with her hands.
Yeah.
And then he's fucking the bridesmaid.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Their relationship in the book, like, goes on a lot more. Like, it's just, like, that one kind of scene.
P.S. You look like Connie, the sister. You look like that actress.
I look like Connie?
Yeah. Yes.
Break it all, you spoiled kitty.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, but then Sonny goes and beats the shit out of him with the fucking top of a garbage can lid. Yeah. Garbage just fucking beats him. Oh, it's so fucking good.
So good.
He's another goddamn traitor.
Well,
Carlo.
Well, but Sonny's a hothead.
What are you gonna do?
Ooh, I'm so jealous.
I know it was you, Carlo.
Oh.
Sonny, I know it was you.
Oh, that's
what do you want me to do? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send you to Vegas.
Oh, it's so good. He's like, "You think I'm gonna make my
sister a widow?"
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so
What about
good.
the scene? Hi
guys. We're just basically
so long for the short episode we were gonna have. What about the scene when I think it was 2 when what's his wife's name? Michael's wife's name. What's her name?
It
was an abortion, Michael.
Oh, yes.
It was an abortion. Like this marriage, an abortion. I'm like, Jesus, Mom, don't take your fucking down enough, bitch. Jesus.
I can't stand her.
What are you gonna do?
I get it. I like Apollonia.
Oh.
It's a shame.
Yeah. That's the tea right there.
And he doesn't love her.
No, he doesn't. And she's just.
Whatever. He needs to be married. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That love story when he's there and they look at each other and then he brings the gifts and he's like talking. She touches it so he sees that she's wearing it. It's so fucking hot.
Yeah.
It is so hot.
And he's got that fucking hat on. Oh. Hi, Michael. Miguel, hey.
Al Pacino. I just watched House of Gucci, which was great, by the way. Great
I haven't
movie.
seen it.
Oh, it's fucking great. And Al Pacino's in it. He's an old motherfucker now, man. I know.
God damn it.
What are you gonna do?
Have you seen Dog Day Afternoon?
Yes. The Bank?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great actor.
John Cazale was a great actor. Like, he died before his time, man.
Frodo, right? Who played Fredo?
Fredo, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry we talked about The Godfather.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. What the fuck do you want from me? Oh, God, I'm over it.
Oh, my God.
Over it.
Me too.
So, by the way, we had our last Dolphins meeting. Like, that was it. We're off our wonderful Dolphins board that we love so much. It was such a bittersweet night.
I know. I feel like it's because I choked up for a second.
Yeah, me too.
I did. But love Alfredo, love all the work, but I'm gonna still go to the meetings. You know, I mean, I may not go to every single meeting, but I'm still gonna go to the meetings.
Definitely.
And I want to support the new board, and I'm excited for the new board, and we still have so much work to do. So, you know.
Yeah.
There it is.
Onward.
All right.
Well, happy Friday.
Thank you. You too.
I'm gonna go see my boyfriend, Michael Corleone. Hillary Corleone.
Ooh.
How would you say? If it was Italian, how would someone say Hillary? What would it sound like?
Hillary. I don't know.
Hillary.
Hillary.
I'm here
I'll have
for
to
it.
I'll ask my dad.
Mm.
I'll record my dad saying it.
Oh, would you?
I'm still laughing about Ian.
What kind of a name is Ian?
Where'd they find that name? I don't know why it makes me laugh so much.
Funny. It's so funny.
They just found it on the street somewhere.
Yeah.
Like it just came
They
out.
find that name. Like they're crazy. They're the ones who are crazy. Like nobody knows Ian. Girl.
Oh my god. All right.
Well, that's the end of that.
All right.
See you on the flip side.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.